again, everyone. This is ITSL, organised by Luis Basmex. 2021 playoffs. Game 1 of a possible 3 against Fjantarik. As the high seed, I got to pick, and I chose USA to kick off. This isn't the shabbiest USA hand I've ever seen. I think I'm going to drop Middle East scoring. Okay, so we'll open 4-4-2, no Marshall plan. 4-2. And we'll headline Middle East scoring. I'll enter the cards first. I mean, there's not really any other options, right? I can defect whatever they've got, but that leaves me with 2 scoring cards in hand. I quite like to have the ops. So let's enter my hand. So I've got EU, defect, US, Japan, NTB, Degal, Europe, Romanian abdication, and Middle East scoring, which I'm going to drop in the headline. So hoping no socialist governments, no coup on Italy, and good read. So now let's hope they don't coup Italy as well. Otherwise I've got nothing out of these scoring cards. A coup on Italy, having seen Middle East scoring, seems the most likely, of course. Can't be helped. Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. We'll hold the goal against blockade, of course. And certainly don't really want to event Romanian abdication. It's always a real giveaway for D-style influence. But that still leaves us with 13 clean ops. And if we don't get blockaded at the end of the turn, we could always try and space De Gaulle to beat USSR into space. So here comes the coup. It's a 3-up card, which indicates a lack of... Oh boy. An impressive coup there. So we'll play into Malaysia. Jordan in case of Suez. Costa Rica, which suggests a 3-op is enough for me, and I can store my ops up. With Middle East scoring gone, it's about not losing access, and DEFCON's 4. So let's go with that, because, yeah, the next likeliest coup target is Panama. Yeah, that'll do. And we're guessing that they're not holding Purge, Marshall Plan, or NATO. They would have used NATO AR1, obviously. They might be holding Marshall Plan, don't want to use it, of course, which is sensible. But that's fine for starters, and we'll see how it gets spread around now. If they want to drop DEFCON here, Panama's the obvious choice. They may, of course, go for South Africa. That's always a sassy coup. Trying to clear out the old US gateway there. Oh, straight to decol. That's nice. Nice, nice. But we'll have a nice big fat coup on Thailand. Oh man, we can't because of the France link, can we? So we'll take Europe, level up Asia against Asia scoring, and see if they drop DEFCON or take Thailand. That's fine. Because of course we do not want to give up France knowing we hold Europe scoring. That would be shambolic. But we have got the ops for a nice coup on Thailand. That said, I'd be willing to trade if they play into Asia and commit influence. I would drop Europe scoring even if they drop Asia scoring in response, and we end up relatively on as even. So here I expect to see him just drop 2 into Thailand and maybe 1 into Zaire. Okay, it's just 2 into Thailand, right. So we're going to take Europe scoring and say, you know what, if you've got Asia scoring as well, bully, well done. If not, then we can have a crack at Thailand. With not so much to follow it up with. If they don't drop DEFCON, we get a chance to crack on Lao. So let's see what they do. Okay. So while DEFCON is at 4, let's coup Lao. Because they need to counter coup or run the risk of setting up rear lines. Playing into Vietnam wouldn't be shabby, I guess. With Indo-Pakistani War played now, there is a call to move into Burma to take India, so we'll see if they push into Pakistan, fearing that I get to India first. So cooing Lao Cambodia seems like the obvious next play. Taking South Korea, they need 4 ops really to take South Korea and another country to get domination. So they can't dominate in Asia, nor do they have it, obviously. They would have dropped the scoring card by now. But we want to try and end the turn ensuring they don't have Asia domination going into the headline, nor using Vietnam Revolt. So here comes the coup, as expected, and it's the perfect number. So this leaves us with a a choice. What is best here? We can gamble on them not having blockade and take the coup with US-Japan on Thailand. If it fails, we're in pretty bad shape. But I think we probably want to do that now. We're looking for a 3 or higher, really. Okay, let's do that. 3, pretty good. So they will either blockade us to lose de Gaulle or coup Panama to finish out the turn. If they don't blockade us, I think I'm inclined to space de Gaulle and try and get to space quickly. And if we can avoid domination in Asia in the early war, that's also a good thing. And obviously DEFCON will be at 4 unless they do a duck and cover coup or coup Panama now. So I may even get Milops next turn as well, all being well. A 3 is probably the best result there. Although I probably would have used remaining abdication to take another 1-up coup on Zaire. So now, specifically, it's a duck and cover coup or Vietnam revolts into duck and cover that we have to watch for. Let's see how the turn closes out, because that will swing it. I mean, this doesn't seem like an event of blockade pause. So I expect we're going to see some ops. So Decol was a strong play this turn. Otherwise, they were light on ops. And here comes NATO, saving ops for the last. Spreading influence around. Do we coup Zaire? Do we take a crack? No, that offers D-style space up, so I'm going to space. It fails. So we didn't get Vietnam revolts. So Vietnam revolts and D-style are both risky, and obviously let's not forget they've seen defectors go. Which makes a purge blockade here totally gross. UN intervention, Asia scoring, duck and cover, 5-year plan, NORAD, SOCGov, captured Nazi. But I think 5-year plan or captured Nazi here. Captured Nazi because we haven't gone off to space is probably best. So let's go with that. Let's hope not to see Vietnam revolts or D-style in the headline. And see if we can get Asia scoring away for cheap. D-style, surprise, surprise. So now we're going to have to race on country count, which isn't going to go very well for us. But with D-style gone, Romanian abdication is playable as 1-op, which they then can't make much more of. So Venezuela, Chile, to Thailand. Just the one in Thailand. Options then. Do we Kulao Cambodia here? At least we didn't get purged. Could be worse. Alright, if we Kulao here, we even up country count very briefly, but get access to Burma and Vietnam and Indonesia for when DEFCON eventually drops. So I kind of like a speculative one-op coup on Lao, although we want to make sure it goes off. And they only need 2 influence to recapture. Oh, it's tough. And we're well behind in South America now as well. That keeps DEFCON up for a potential counter coup, I guess. So we could play Indonesia, Philippines, Colombia. But I feel like Asia would still be the place to be addressed before they went and dealt with Colombia. That just simply invites an Indonesia coup as far as I can see. The alternative is a straight coup on Laos, which gains us mill-ops and access to Burma. So let's do that. Oh, it's a big coup. We can play into Burma and Philippines next. If they play into India or Vietnam. DEFCON is 4, so we can still get a coup off on Pakistan. It's just unlikely to be particularly successful. But keeping DEFCON up's not shabby, so we get the last coup in the round. We've got some mill-ops. But trying to avoid being dominated in Asia is going to be tough, but is pretty important, all things considered. If they play into Vietnam, we could use remaining application to try and take a coup there. I know, my primary objective is try and avoid domination in Asia, although I see them bleeding all over the rest of the board. The trouble they have is, of course, they're set up for a +1 realign in Thailand at the moment. The upshot of it being a strong coup on Laos. Okay. We'll coup Vietnam next. starting to look sweaty around Thailand. Yeah. Okay, takes the coup. We get to counter coup. Great. So bad that CIA is gone, but good that the end result is that we can get Asia scoring away. And we know they've got blockade. Blockade, Formosa, Korea, Suez. So we will coup Zaire, which does not succeed particularly well, and we drop Asia scoring for not domination. None of that was nice. They will be eventing Korean War. We will grab Lebanon. And seek to overtake France against de Gaulle. Try and make sure we go into Europe in a position where we're not going to get dominated. France isn't getting flipped, sorry. We don't want France to get flipped. We don't want Asia to be dominated. We need presence in the Middle East. Meanwhile, we are hemorrhaging in the rest of the world. Okay, so that was smart. So we give them remaining application. We get presence in Jordan. That will make racing in Europe a little trickier, but I want to hold you an intervention for something better. Oh, not that I'm going to, of course. If I get blockaded, I have to play it for an op. Okay. Perfect. I think. We space SOCGov and hold you an intervention. Korean War for the Milops. Ah, no, Suez for the event. Okay. So Middle East scoring is bad, and there's nothing we can do about it. Marshall Plan is probably the headline. Or Eastern European unrest, because they're holding Truman. So we've got Marshall. Arab, Israel, and Vietnam. They're holding Korean War, Olympic Games, Special Relationship Containment, Independent Reds, and Truman Doctrine. Is that right? Well, I've got Olympic Games, that's why it doesn't add up. Yeah, good. Right, so Korean War is a potential headline, or one of the cards they got dealt in the reshuffle. But with Truman in play, I quite like Eastern European unrest for a couple of targets. Or Marshall Plan. Maybe Marshall Plan's better. Need to watch out for blockade coming back. Yeah, we'll event Marshall Plan, just in case they've been redealt NATO. Well, Cambridge 5 is a big giveaway. We will have to just hope for presence. But they won't be able to get control before we can drop Middle East scoring. So we have to hold East European unrest against blockade. I'm going to go and put it down that side. Space decol. Or use UN intervention on it. This is going to be ropey. Going to be entering mid-war in pretty bad shape. Gets the coup. Gets success. And I can't cleanly take it. We'll dominate Europe in case they're holding Europe scoring, because we would look like real mugs, and we'll put one in Panama in a bid to force them to finish taking it. But I'm not happy about that. We don't know two of their cards. When we know what the other two are, and we can be sure we're not being blockaded, we can use East European unrest. For ops. Probably. We're not going to event it at this point. So is Truman going to be next? Or just jamming Iraq and Saudi for... extra VP. Well, at least NATO's in play. That's some small mercy. But everything else looks garbage. Okay, we'll drop Middle East scoring before it gets any worse. One unknown card still. Truman goes before I can do any mischief with it. Such is life. We'll send Arab-Israeli war to space. Yeah. Oh man. It's all coming up Millhouse. So Q Korean War. Or then maybe we'll just straight take Korean War. No, made Millops. Yeah, just use Korean War to take South Korea. That's much smarter. Yeah. Man, now I'm in terrible shape. I will use Vietnam revolts to take Burma. That's awful. So the AR-5, I can use UN intervention on decol. So I'll be going in -3 fairly comfortably. And behind in South America and Africa. Not a kind early war for the Americas. Okay, that's good news for me. We're going to use UN intervention on decoy. Oh, no, wait. NATO's in play, right? So they can't brush on Italy. Small mercies. Yeah, that's fine. We're just going to need a sympathetic break of the green for the power cards in mid-war. Otherwise, high scoring in Africa and South America is going to race this game away from us. If they don't play into Venezuela and Brazil, we might get the miracle VOA, but that's only half the trouble in South America anyway. Africa's bad, and what with America, with African access cards to USSR in mid-war, it's not a great help either. So we're going to get 4 ops to play with. Yeah, overprotect, very wise. So what are we like? Tap Thailand. Yeah, that may force a reaction, and it's better than nothing. Come on, mid-war. Southeast Asia scoring and brush war, both nice. Africa scoring bad. Grain sales good. I am, of course, in the unfortunate scenario of then handing Thailand back. Grain sales cool on Zaire seems like the best bet, though. And we've always got brush war in the back pocket. Worst case scenario is missile envy, which isn't a worst case scenario because grain sales coup, we will bury you. Difficult suicide. Okay. This is not the worst hand I could have been dealt, so I'm not going to complain. So we'll headline grain sales, steal a card, and see if we can get very lucky, I guess, but probably not. Fidel is back in deck, so Cuban Missile Crisis isn't all that attractive, since there's a way for America to, the USSR to resolve it. Right, don't need to worry about blockade till turn 7, but do need to remember. Okay, just going for Ops Surfeit. So we'll take that, and we'll coup on Zaire. My instincts are to drop Africa scoring if they don't secure domination there. So Thailand. Okay, that's not good. So brush war on Algeria is probably necessary. Doesn't do it. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, with no 4-up cards and with them under Brezhnev, we're already running quite low on gas. Uh, we'll drop Southeast Asia scoring now. It's not going to get any better, especially with Ops disadvantage. We'll see if they try realigning out of South Africa. Ooh, okay, going big. Let's press on Cuba. Oh man, everything about this is bad. I mean, now we want a brush war in every single, like in Africa, South America, and Central America, we want a brush war. Let's level up and threaten the realign from Cuba and Nicaragua. I mean, that's dire, but it's something. I see this unraveling rapidly. Let's put it that way. A coup on Cameroon here is possible, but then at least we can try and realign out of Cuba. Man, everything about this mid-war region map stinks. Going Nicaragua or Cameroon? Cameroon, sensible, huge coup. Not going to get any better. Do we realign first? Yeah, I suppose we realign first. Let's realign from Cuba at +1. Be good. Yes. Smart. Very smart. Give up Africa scoring and give up South America. Well, give up Africa scoring, hope to brush before they drop South America scoring. Good. We got there at least. And they don't have it. So we go space race socialist governments. And space race we will bury you. Okay. 4 more ops to play with. OPEC. Alright. More space, we will bury you. NASA lets us down. Here comes a big old OPEC. Okay, well, event brush war. If this fails and they've got South America scoring next turn, the game's over. The game continues for a short while. So emit fishing for South America, Asia scoring, Central America scoring is a good idea. So I like emit. Camp David is always nice. Otherwise, I don't see a viable headline. And when Camp David and emit are about as good as it gets. So they're never going to headline Muslim Revolution. So emit is probably a decent headline. Or lads to protect Venezuela. Yeah, maybe lads. Because we can emit later in the turn. We need to protect Venezuela, basically, so... Yeah, lads. Weird. I'm not usually a lads headliner. Fidel. So now Central America control is real as well. Everything about this stinks. So Uruguay's likely simply to get domination in South America. They're not going to... Likely not going to faff around with Venezuela. But this is shaky. Okay. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, you can't argue with results. You can do everything right and still fail. Well, we'll use arms race and we'll do some realigns on Central America. But South America is toast now. That was the 6, yeah. Okay, can't argue with results. So, what do we need to do? We can use Camp David to snag a VP. If they coup Nicaragua, we have to take Cuba, but at least Fidel is gone. We want to dig for emits to try and find enemy scoring cards. But a lot of this is rearguard action, especially with CIA gone. Oh well, we're only in Venezuela on a 50-50 anyway with Brush War, so won't bewail my ill fortune. Okay, we get the China card, which at this point in the game is nice, but not spectacular. We'll move into Colombia. I suppose we break Panama, right? Well, yeah, to make the realign on Colombia less real, if they choose to realign. Okay. Let the second influence go Venezuela, yeah. We may as well omit at this point and see what we can pull out the deck. No scoring cards. Quagmire. South Africa. U2. Camp David for a VP. Knowing Sadat's going to come along. Alliance into Cuba. Coup of Costa Rica for Milops. But yeah. All rearranging deck chairs on a sinking ship. So what have we got left? Flower Power, Muslim Revolution, plenty of firepower and ops there. Che, plenty of targets. De Gaulle is still a risk. Warsaw Pact and Portuguese Empire crumbles. ABM is still in the deck. Duncan Gun going to space is fairly standard. So we event Camp David. Yeah, that's fine. Need all the VPs we can get. But we now know, unless we get asked not, we're not going to be able to ditch South America or Central America or Asia scoring. So, yeah, kind of what we want to be dealt next turn, right? Because it looks like we're going to make it at least to next turn. But strictly speaking, we need to see exactly Ask not South America scoring, Central America scoring, Asia scoring in order to be able to survive longer, which does not bode well. We'll take Cuba. Not that it helps a lot. Another region dominated by the USSR. I mean, when you've got stuff to space, you've got stuff to space, don't you? So the trouble is that we can't take Thailand without having to get Milops in the end round anyway. I think we just take a coup on Costa Rica and pray. Oh well. We've got our Milops. And we'll finish the turn by counter-coupping Colombia. Or putting one in Haiti to level up Central America. But things do not look good. I mean, okay. I guess in this case, we coup Brazil. Okay. Something nice right at the end of the term. So, sort ABM's a thing as well. Panama Canal returned isn't bad. Che's obviously very bad for us. The only thing we'd be sad to 5-year plan away is Europe scoring. What if we start with the ABM treaty and use it for realigns? Because we can realign Venezuela, Thailand, and possibly Mexico. Now we use it for a coup. 0 points it is. Let's sort ABM. And see if they drop South America scoring first. Okay, those are all fine. Let's realign Thailand while we have a chance. Excellent. Next up, we want to try and space before they get a chance to space. So it looks like, again, we've dodged South America scoring this turn. Oh, de Gaulle's gone. Of course, what I need to do is drop one in for NORAD, which I haven't done sooner. Silly. Here comes a coup. Okay. Let's put one in Canada now, bearing in mind there's likely to be a number of DEFCON drops. Do they get there? They do. Well done. We'll event Panama to soften up Venezuela before a coup which is likely to fail. Well, let's use lone gunman first. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I feel like that's fine late in the turn. Lousy. Africa instead. Oh dear. That was a fun gamble which failed badly. So we will event Panama Canal to coup puppet governments to bring DEFCON down, to add a second influence to Venezuela. But this still is not good. My demise is still fairly assured. Oh boy. Much, much influence extending. To which I insipidly respond. But I'll definitely event lone gunman. Next. Space tempo is bad there, I guess, with Canada. Should have tried spacing first while I had the tempo. But I thought that they might be in a DEF CON dropping race, so I don't know. Wanted to try and maximise NORAD ops, and that hasn't happened yet. Big overprotects. We'll drop lone gunman. We'll just double check that Venezuela's, yeah, a non-starter. 5 or a 6 here, though. A 4. Does enough to swing it. Well, ask not for Che. Doesn't pull a scorer. So I guess we ABM Brazil and then Hunter Venezuela. Yeah, okay, flip there. So we'll ABM Brazil. Come on, big 6. Yeah, hello. Yeah, and then Hunter headline next. Central America comes back. Bear Trap's nice. But we can Bear Trap at the end of the next turn if we survive. And we know they've got Europe scoring and South America scoring. And they know we've got Asia scoring. Ooh, they've got OAS and Sadat. So I think their hand of 9 includes Muslim Rev, Europe scoring, Warsaw Pact, VOA, OAS, Sadat, and South America scoring. So I guess we go Hunter. Or do we go Bear Trap in the hope of getting a stronger core from Venezuela? They know we've got Hunter, they know we've got Bear Trap. We'll go Hunter in case we get quagmired. De Gaulle. Oh boy. So we level up. That was one of the 2 unknown cards, of course, let's not forget. So Europe drops for 0. Nicely done. Oh dear. That'll do. I suppose there was always a Purge Bear Trap combo that we could go for. But trying to deny Central America domination will be quite important here. And we definitely want a Bear Trap AR7. We're surviving, but we're not thriving. Yeah, well, getting De Gaulle back in the reshuffle was a pretty huge swing there. I was banking on having 5 extra points to try and buffer the worst of it. I suppose in a way the work in South Africa has offset it. So we can be disappointed, but not more so than that. So they've got Muslim Rev, Warsaw Pact, VOA, OAS, Sadat, South America, and one other card. Knowing the other one would be good because we might be able to find an optimal time to bear trap them. Although they know we've got bear traps, they shouldn't make that mistake. Yeah, so Sadat first for a future Muslim Rev. If we do that, we guarantee no domination. So we pump the Americas. In order to keep Central America down to a minimum. At least with my lousy space tracking, I don't have to worry about Ortega either. Mm. Central America. Yep, VOA to space. Whoop, but not OAS. Blimey, they are racing away in space. Space racing. So now we give them Asia scoring because OPEC isn't game ending yet. Okay. We'll take that straight back off them. We know they've got South America. Mm-hmm. So now we can't use Bear Trap to Bear Trap them. Nicely done. So we use defectors because they're headline peaking to coup Guatemala to set up rear lines later. Yeah, I suppose. What's the option otherwise? Southeast African states. Yeah. So many scoring cards. It actually beggars belief. East European unrest, the Reformer. I think we're losing this turn. Blockade came back. Iran Contra. Middle East scoring. Yeah. The game is definitely up this turn. Reagan bombs Libya. Currently worth a single VP. So let's start with how I learned. And they may think we're going to drop DEFCON to 2, but we'll possibly raise it to 5 in a bid to try and drop Africa and Middle East for as close to 0 as possible. Middle East, of course, a virtual fool's errand there. But this is, yeah. Good night, Vienna. Not that we ever controlled Austria. Mm-hmm. World peace, if only for a short while. One last coup for them. If Angola or Zaire fails, we might be able to snag a Hail Mary Africa Dom, which would be pretty massive at this phase. Miss, miss, miss. 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1. No. And there goes your ball game. With Reagan bombs Libya and a lucky missile envy, they had war games. Good game. Look forward to game 2, possibly tomorrow. We'll talk about that and decide one. But thanks for watching. Let me know if there's anything I could have done to fight that back. I don't think so. And I will see you again soon.